Wagwan, 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 wagwan. Everybody out there, you know you rocking with Lex, the best astrologer. Check out my new book, Astro Aesthetics, The Aesthetics of Astrology, available right now. So, I don't know if y'all heard, but we have Mars going direct in a few days from now. So, on October 30th, 2022, the planet Mars went retrograde in the sign of Gemini at about 25 or 26 degrees. So look at this. Mars was at the end of Gemini, and then Mars went retrograde back in Gemini. But Mars was pretty much leaving Gemini, and then Mars said, X, let me take a vacation. So that's essentially what retrogrades are. Retrogrades are kind of like when a planet, you know, like when you go on a trip and you say, hold up, I gotta stay here. That's exactly what a retrograde is. So Mars said, hold on, let me have a vacation in Gemini. Let me extend my stay. Let me kick my feet up. And let me have some intellectual vibes. Let me extend my stay in Gemini pretty much. Mars went retrograde in Gemini on October 30th, 2022. And Mars is going to go direct in Gemini January 12th of 2023. So Mars extended its stay in Gemini for about 7 to 8 months. And Mars is seen as the stimulator. You know what? Let's check out astrosthetics. The planet Mars governs stimulation, passion, rush, force, heat, aggression, sex, conflict, exercise, masculinity, self-preservation, the root chakra, the animal nature, and survival mechanics. So if you've been feeling some congested momentum, because look, y'all see how we call a Mercury retrograde an illusionary setback? We look at Mars retrogrades as congested momentum. I want y'all to remember this. Congested momentum. Mars is Mars is the ruler of Aries and Scorpio, right? So seeing that Mars is the natural ruler of both of these signs, Aries governs the aspect of war, and in astrosthetics, Scorpio deals with psychology, more specifically emotional psychology as well. Now, y'all know that this is different than what you're typically gonna hear when it comes to Scorpio. But in astrosthetics, make sure y'all pick up this book right now. We refer to Mars and Scorpio as the planet and the houses that deal with psychology. So, when Mars is going retrograde, there could be some congested momentum in the psychology. Now, the congested momentum, it could revolve around things like sex. It could revolve around power. It could revolve around impulse, even taking the initiative for things. Mars also deals with passion and sports and athleticism, and as well as machines. Why? Because Mars also deals with iron. When it comes to iron, people manufacture weapons with iron. So after this, you can bet that things like the gun laws, things like the laws around weapons, these will maybe come back into the fray. Because remember, they was talking about the gun laws and situation around weapons and access to weapons and things like that. And that conversation got quelled down a little bit. But you can betcha when Mars goes prograde, so another name for direct is prograde. When Mars goes prograde, these things will come back up, and we'll also see activity in the media cycle, more activity in the news when it comes to newspaper and the newspapers, but this all revolves around media and masculinity, taking authority over our intellectual property. This can be your natural thoughts, your intellect. This is gonna get rid of that congested momentum, because Mars is the planet of momentum. So when the planet of momentum is going retrograde, from our apparent perspective, there can be some things that we want to release, whether it be some sexual tension, some things that we are psychologically pondering on, right? It's about letting these things have an outlet to flow, because that's what Mars does. Mars needs a channel to flow, and this is why if Mars is the natural ruler of Scorpio, this would mean that Mars governs an aspect of trauma as well. And when it comes to trauma and things like that, you have to let it flow so that you can psychologically process what's going on. When we elaborate Mars from this realistic astrostatical perspective, we see that there is a lot more to Mars than fighting and sex, because even things like sex is very psychological, right? And when we get into the psychological attributes surrounding things like sex, passion, force, activation, and independence, and the ego, we are able to, especially, and this is why I say, Mars being in Gemini is probably one of the best signs for Mars to go retrograde in. Now, when Mars left Taurus, right? And the last time Mars went retrograde was in Aries in 2020. And the next time Mars is going to go retrograde is going to be in the sign of Cancer in 2025. But Mars is going to go into Cancer in about March or April. So when it comes to our intellect, there is a relationship between our intellect and our psychology that Mars in Gemini has allowed us to elaborate. Understanding the psychological intricacies between our intellect and the authority around our mindset, because Gemini is the mindset. When Mars goes direct, that is going to flow. You may feel some of the things that was psychologically, right? Remember, we're talking about the momentum. Some of the things that were psychologically congested in our thought process, that is going to alleviate itself. So this Mars retro, I hope this is making sense, yo. All right, y'all know I got y'all. Relax. Let me finish doing what I'm doing. So look, this Mars retrograde is also concurrent with a Mercury retrograde, right? But Mars is going prograde and Mercury is going to go direct sometime in January. Mercury is our mindset. Mars deals with psychology. So with both of these planets going retrograde, there is some possible tension within the psychology and the intellect that will go away, and these things will flow a lot better in these upcoming days. So I guarantee you, A lot of y'all that was, oh my God, this retrograde was a lot. This retrograde was crazy. Oh my God. A lot of y'all, no, for real. A lot of y'all was like, oh my God, Lex, this retrograde is crazy. What do we do? And I promise you, going into February, by the time we have this next Aquarius new moon, it's gonna make a lot of y'all emotionally free. By the time that Aquarius new moon come in, that Mars retrograde is gonna be done and Mercury retrograde is gonna be done. So this next Aquarius new moon may be the most emotional freedom. The moon being in Aquarius, that's kind of like a moon conjunct Uranus. This is emotional freedom and also conscious and emotional awareness coming into a synchronicity. And we also have Venus in Aquarius adding some unorthodox, element of unorthodoxy to relationships. Some of your partnerships, some of your friends, you might make friends in very unexpected places, unexpected situations, even financially. Unexpected financial opportunities coming your way. These energies will be maximized when Mars goes direct, when Mercury goes direct. Look at what's going on with Venus and Aquarius. A lot of relationships will be very unorthodox and they will feel free. When Venus is in Aquarius, we are able to socialize and find security within our network. And this is ultimately the heightened side of it. You might see some of the more unorthodox tendencies of your friends and also some unorthodoxy surrounding finances. Some of the financial opportunities that will be open to you, they will have an element of unorthodoxy around them. And this can allow you to get very, I don't know, quirky, for lack of a better word. You can get very quirky when it comes to expressing yourself around your friends. But this is something that is also extremely interesting because it allows us to break the norm, right? So love relationships, partnerships, finding sensuality within the unorthodox, electrifying aspects of our relationships, right? Doing some unexpected things with your partner. Some of the things that y'all probably always, look, not even just your partner, with your friends, right? Finding an element of relatability with the more unorthodox facets of stability and friendship, right? Understanding some financial opportunities that are out the box, out of the norm. This can be from socializing with people in your network who are out of the norm. Some of the people that might be on a more intricate, unorthodox aspect of things. And we're also going to see a lot of this, right? The unorthodox elements of relationships, right? And this also goes into unorthodox relationship dynamics, right? So anything that deals with people in partnership doing unexpected, unorthodox things, we may see a lot of that come to the surface because this is essentially how we explore the secret dynamics in our relationships, by celebrating the unorthodox values of them. And all of this is going to be heightened when Mars goes direct. A lot of I promise y'all, because a lot of people have been DMing me, right? Because remember, we was talking about the psychological congested momentum, right? Things that there was no force behind, right? When Mars goes retrograde, it can cause us to psychologically apply force around things from the past, right? So this is why when we accompany that with a Mercury retrograde, you gotta watch your intelligence, you gotta watch your emotional psychology, your mental state of cognition, and what you're focusing on, because there's a heightened energy to simply overreact to things that are emotionally in the past, right? And it's not like a Mercury retrograde where it's things that dealt with the mental cognition. With the Mars retrograde in Gemini, this deals with the emotional attachment to things in our intellect, right? And this is why there's that thin line between intelligence and psychology, right? And this is why y'all make sure y'all pick up a beautiful copy of Astrosthetics, because in this beautiful book, we go way more into detail amongst these topics. Alright? So everybody, I hope y'all really enjoyed this video, and when these planets go direct, I wish you beauty, love, and a peace of mind, ease of mind, peace of mind, ease of mind, and ease your mind. Alright? Have a great, fantastic 23, and look, make sure y'all like, comment, share, subscribe, and let the whole world know that we are bringing some beautiful astronomical content to you. All right? Peace.